We the only ones getting taken off the plane. Look at this.
This video at the center of a newly filed lawsuit against American Airlines appears to show a number of black men after they've been removed from a flight allegedly due to a complaint about offensive body odor.
So this is discrimination.
The lawsuit claims as Flight 832 from Phoenix to New York was finishing boarding in January, American employees removed 8 black men from the plane. They were not traveling together, weren't seated next to each other, did not know each other, and appeared to be the only black men on the flight, according to the suit filed early this morning.
As I got my things and walked to the front of the plane and made a left to the jet bridge, I noticed that there was 7 other black men. And that kind of was like, okay, what's happening here?
For plaintiffs Emmanuel Jean Joseph, Alvin Jackson, and Xavier Veal, Flight 832 was a connection. They'd taken an earlier flight from Los Angeles without issue.
It was just black men, so I started freaking out. I pulled out my phone to record everything.
At any point, did somebody from American say to any of you that you had an offensive odor?
No.
The lawsuit claims over the course of about an hour, the men were kept in the jetway and then moved to the gate area where they were told they'd be rebooked on another flight to New York later that day, and alleges an American employee indicated the complaint about offensive body odor had come from a white male flight attendant. A gate agent seen in the video at one point seems to agree race was a factor in the men getting pulled off the flight.
Just because of the color of my skin. Okay. Okay.
I do not disagree.
But when another flight to New York couldn't be found, they were put back on the same plane.
Had to go back on the plane with everybody looking at us, you know. For me, very uncomfortable. Everybody staring at me. Me and all the other black people on the plane were just taking off.
I knew that as soon as I get on that plane, a sea of white faces were going to be looking at me and blaming me for their late flight of an hour.
Their lawyer, Sue Huta, says American declined to give her clients any answers about what happened in Phoenix.
It's almost inconceivable to come up with an explanation for that other than the color of their skin, particularly since they didn't know each other, they weren't sitting near each other. It seems fairly apparent that race was part of this dynamic.
The lawsuit cites other recent incidents where passengers have alleged being discriminated against by American and a 2017 NAACP travel advisory urging members not to fly the airline. It was lifted about 8 months later.
Yo, now that is bananas. No diddy. Listen, I've never heard of stuff like that. We've heard about people actually being overweight or their size and being removed from the flight, but not for somebody being funky. I didn't even know that was a thing. I know that there's all these hidden rules a lot of times that it's the discretion of the pilot and he can do things. If you don't like the way you look, he can kick you up off of there. If you don't like certain things, he'll come out, and the flight staff is an extension of the pilot at the end of the day. And to remove 8 black men off of the flight, nobody else, 8 black men unrelated, and this affidavit or whatever it is that they showed said due to body odor, which I'm assuming is a real thing, is just crazy to me, guys. Now, I know a lot of black folks in America would say that these guys are non-FBA, right? That's why. But there is a specific demographic, and I'm not going to say the demographic of people who are known to be funky, humming, have a terrible offensive body odor because they just don't wear deodorant. They don't believe in deodorant. And I've worked with them when I was in Afghanistan. I'm not saying it's Afghanistan people, but I've worked with this demographic of people in Afghanistan. I've actually had to live amongst them as well. And these people in particular, or this group of people in particular, have a terrible body odor. But they don't, I've never heard of them getting kicked off of flights or anything like that. But to have black men removed, embarrassed, and having to get back on and have to look at folks, and they said at no point they were told that they were funky, is just crazy to me. Now, I know that lady that when they were outside waiting appeared to be a black woman who said, I agree. I don't know if she's going to have her job too long, but that it is what it is. That's a lawsuit. You're speaking against the company, basically saying that, yes, this is obviously discrimination because allegedly a white man said that these guys were stinking up the plane. Now, you have to be pretty funky to stink up a plane, guys, because you know, as I know, the AC is typically running unless that AC is broke on that plane and it's constantly circulating air in there. You could fart next to somebody and they a lot of times wouldn't smell it unless it's just that potent of a fart. I'm not trying to be funny because a lot of you guys, your guts start acting up on the plane, as you know, and you get gas and things like that because the higher elevation you go, the air expands in your intestines. But the funkiest place you're going to find in there is in the latrine or lavatory, whatever you want to call it, the bathroom. That's the funkiest place a lot of times, and even that is if somebody pissed on the floor, or just for those of you who've never been on a plane, I know a lot of this stuff sounds crazy to you that I'm saying right now, but it's a fact. But this is a settlement that's coming up. Whoever was in charge to actually have these guys and try to find them another flight. Man, I don't know who okayed this or who said to get these guys off of here and who actually said you, and you. Just imagine that, bro. This is America 2024. Now, a lot of you guys are saying that these attorneys, you got these civil rights attorneys and human rights attorneys, they're always trying to make a quick buck and da 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 da. What would you do? Anybody else, all the non-black people, what would you do? You would just be like, okay, I'm just going on. No, you would be completely embarrassed and humiliated for having you pay a ticket you paid for, somebody to kick you off and them not telling you at any given time other than the fact that you're black. You guys are going to have to get another flight. And because they can't find another flight, they then in turn put you back on the plane. That's too much. As they say, that is far too much, guys. Sheesh. Man, I think in this whole situation, what's going to happen, obviously, they're going to settle. They're going to pay these guys handsomely, maybe. I hope they do get paid handsomely out of this whole situation. And this is a learning lesson. I didn't know about that advisory. I've heard of NAACP having advisories on traveling certain places, but I don't know particular airlines. In terms of that, I'm like, at this point, man, we're still doing this stuff. Now, I understand these things exist, but we're still that blatant with it. Bro, airlines, y'all got to do better. You guys have to do better. This is completely unacceptable for people, citizen or not, to have to go through this. Man, that's crazy. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. What would you have done? Would you have gotten off the plane? Obviously, I know if they tell you to get off the plane, you got to go. But what would you have done? Obviously, you would have sued as well. But for those of you non-black people, what would you have done in this situation as well? Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Listen, I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Follow me on Snapchat, and I'm out of here, guys. Peace.
Yeah. 50 Cent. 50. Part 2. Bring it back. Yeah. Can't forget Tony. 50. Can't forget Tony. 50.